Watch the officer as the woman approaches him. As you can see, the officer is having a difficult time understanding her and isn't sure what she needs or where she needs to go. The officer assesses the situation as a non-emergency, but he must still help the woman. He calls his police dispatch office to determine if anyone there can speak the woman's language.
I'm out with a patron at North Concord BART station. It doesn't appear to be an emergency, but she does seem to be lost, and I'm having a difficult time understanding her.
If no one can, dispatch then contacts the language line to assist the officer and the woman.
Please follow me. Please follow me.
The officer can also escort her to the station agent's booth to show her the I Speak card. That way, she can identify her language.
Cantonese? Okay, thank you.
The next step is for the officer to pick up the station agent phone to dial extension 3333. Remember that you can use the speakerphone if it's equipped and the sound quality is adequate. Once the officer is on the line, he presses 1. The officer will then follow an automated voice prompt which will ask him if an interpreter is needed. Once he presses 1, he will be asked to provide the representative with the following information. He'll need to provide a 6-digit client identification number. That number is 595042.
This is Besmere. Please have a client ID.
Sure, it's 595042.
Then he identifies his employer as BART.
My name is Officer Jeff Sweatsloot with BART.
The officer will then need to identify the language which needs interpreting.
You may have the language you need assistance with.
Cantonese?
Next, he will provide his employee identification number. From there, he will brief the interpreter about the nature of the call and what needs to be accomplished. Then he will hand the handset to the limited English speaker or use the speakerphone. The officer will keep in mind that several exchanges of the handset and speaking to the interpreter may be necessary in order for you to provide the customer with proper service. He needs to be patient. He needs to do everything possible to help the person. When the situation is resolved, he confirms that with the interpreter and says that no further interpretation is required.
Okay. Have a good day.
You too. Thank you.
After the customer is satisfied, the officer will need to remember to log this contact into the language-specific counter. What if the woman spoke English, but it was difficult to understand her? Should the officer A, ask her to repeat herself multiple times, B, offer language assistance, or C, ask her to speak louder? The correct answer would be B, offer language assistance. Are you ready for another scenario? This next scene will involve a station agent who will come face to face with a woman who speaks very little English. She also appears lost and in a panic. She doesn't know who to turn to. She appears confused. She walks up to people, but they can't help her, and they walk away. The woman doesn't seek help, but continues to walk around the station looking at system maps. What should the station agent do? He's dealing with a busy day and has his own things to worry about at the moment. Should he A, do nothing and wait for the woman to approach the station agent booth for assistance, B, ignore the woman hoping that she'll go away, C, ask someone who resembles the woman if she might be able to assist her, or D, take charge of the situation and offer assistance.
Where would you like to go?
If you answer D, you are correct. Here, the station agent leaves his information booth and walks over to the woman who looks confused. Once he approaches her, the woman begins speaking in her native language. She does not speak English.
Gusto ko pumunta sa Daly City.
The station agent then escorts her back to the booth and shows her the I Speak card.
Show me what language you speak on this card. I can get some help for us on the line. Can you point out which language you speak?
The woman looks at the card and points to her language.
Oh, you speak Tagalog? I get somebody on the line. Just one moment.
Salamat.
Then the station agent picks up the phone to call the language line. Remember, These kinds of situations can be frightening to people with language barriers. They simply want someone to help them. As a BART employee, it is up to you to help them. Now let's go inside the administrative offices. While station agents, police officers, train operators, even system service staff face LEP customers every day, other BART employees also come into contact with them. In this next scene, a customer service representative is perplexed.
Hello, BART customer service. How may I help you?
She has received a call from a customer asking for assistance on how to
can you
travel
repeat
from
that?
Fremont to San Francisco. But the man on the other end of the line speaks
Fremont?
very little English.
I'm sorry, sir. Can you repeat that?
Habla español.
The customer service representative can understand some English. She can hear him say Fremont and San Francisco, but she has to be sure. What's her next step? Does she A, hand off the phone to someone else, B, tell the man to come down to the station and a station agent will help him, or C, does she remember what she's learned regarding the language line? Of course, we'll hope you answered C as the correct answer. If the customer service representative has determined that she's unable to effectively communicate with a man, she needs to immediately contact the language line service for assistance.
Can you hold just a moment?
To do so,
Just one
she
moment.
will need to dial extension 3333. Once connected, she will press 1. An automated voice prompt will then ask her if an interpreter is needed. She'll press 1 again to access an interpreter. When asked, she will provide the representative on the line with the following information. She'll need to provide the 6-digit client identification number that we've mentioned. That number is 595042.
District codes 595042.
When asked to provide the name of the company, she simply says BART. If she's able to, she'll need to then identify the language which needs interpreting.
Well, I believe he's speaking Spanish, but I can't really tell.
Next, she provides her employee identification number. From there, she will brief the interpreter about the nature
I'm
of
not
the
sure
call
nature of
and
the
what
call. I
needs to
believe
be
he's trying to
accomplished.
get directions, but I just can't tell. Let me connect you, and I'll remain on the line.
How may I assist you?
Sí, estoy tratando de conseguir un poquito de información. Quiero viajar desde Fremont en BART hasta la estación de embarcadero.
Okay, good. So he understands? Okay, thank you so much.
Bueno, muchas gracias.
Here's one last scenario.
Thank you for your help. Goodbye.
The executive secretary to the general manager receives written correspondence from a BART patron. The only problem is she can't read it. It's not written in English. What does she do? Does she A, ignore the letter, B, give the letter to another secretary to handle,
Dave, can you take this downstairs? Thanks.
or C, contact the Office of Civil Rights?
Hi, Office of Civil Rights.
The correct answer is C. In this scenario, the secretary will contact the Office of Civil Rights, which will provide assistance available to determine the language in the letter.
Yes, Office of Civil Rights. This is Sonia Marie in the General Manager's office, and I've received a letter from a BART customer, but it's not written in English. Can you help me with this? Okay, thank you very much. I'll bring it right away. Goodbye.
The Office of Civil Rights is the district's one-stop shop for translation and interpretation services.
Great, thanks. Speaking of which, let's see, what's this? It may be from one of...
You now know what Title VI means when it's related to people with limited English proficiency. Also explained is what national origin discrimination means. How does BART comply? We now understand what requirements the district must meet. And to achieve this, your commitment is needed. We've also talked about what language services are available at BART and how they can be utilized in the most optimal ways possible. And lastly, you were presented with 4 different scenarios of how to proceed correctly when you encounter a person with limited English proficiency. Complying with Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 is crucial. With your cooperation and your can-do spirit, you can make this work and continue to be proud of the workplace you call BART.
I hope you enjoyed the video and that it helped you learn what to do in various types of situations. While the information does address many issues, it cannot address every possible situation. That's why we have the Office of Civil Rights, which is always available to assist you with your questions or concerns regarding Title VI, limited English proficiencies, and other civil rights issues. As General Manager, I am 100% committed to BART's full compliance with the requirements of Title VI, and I have no doubt we will achieve that goal. Not just because we have to, but because nearly 40 years of our history shows we go the extra mile because we want to. I'm Dorothy Duggar, and thank you for watching.